GIT, which is the mostly used. Just imagine a stack. Anything will come to the stack will be placed at the top. But if you use the GIT reset hard, in that case the changes will be totally reverted back. Hello my dear friends, welcome back to QV Bro, your favorite YouTube channel, and today also I am back with another video. So if you can remember, last time we started our new playlist related to the version control systems. So there I discussed about some basic information and gave the introduction to what version control systems are and like what are the advantages of using that. Likewise we discussed about the background information. So today I selected to start talking about one of the version control systems available, and as I mentioned last time, GIT, which is the mostly used one, the version control system. So GIT stands for the Global Information Tracker, which was created by Mr. Linus Torvalds. Yeah, the person who created Linux, the Linux kernel, the same person. Yeah, he created the GIT and he made all our lives easier. Thanks to him, all these software companies and the other people who use this documentation and everyone use this version control system as I mentioned. So yeah, so today we can see how you can use GIT for your work and like what are the available commands, and so let's go and see how you can use GIT with your day-to-day activities. So before working with GIT as any other software, you need to install GIT. So using this GIT website, you can download the particular version based on your operating system and then you can install it. And after that, we can start using GIT. So if you come to the GIT, the website, here under the downloads page, you can go and here you can see. So here you can see it lists the different operating systems, and based on your operating system, you can download it. So for example, I am using Windows and I will download the Windows version from here. So the latest, the release was 2.45.2, and yeah, likewise you can download it and proceed in the installation. The installation is very easy, very straightforward. You can select different options and then you need to click next, and then likewise you can proceed by selecting the options, the configurations as you need, and then you can get the GIT installed in your system. So the installation is very straightforward. You will also different configurations to select different options, and it will have all the information about each the particular configuration likewise and the options. So you can select and click the next. Likewise you will get different windows, and then at the end of it, so you can very easily install GIT in your system. And to verify your installation, you can open a terminal, and on the terminal you can type GIT then version. Similarly, like you check the Java version or something like, similarly you can check the GIT version and it will give you what is the installed version. For example, now in my computer I have installed GIT version 2.45.2, the Windows one. So that is the latest version as you see in the website. So likewise you can install GIT. It won't take much time. Within few seconds you can install GIT, and then we can proceed with the commands. So I have created a small cheat sheet. I hope this will be useful. I will share this. So in the description section in the YouTube, the video, you will see the link to download the GIT cheat sheet, similar to the last in the last videos I shared the presentation slides. Similarly, I will share the GIT cheat sheet here in the description section. You can see the link to download it. So yeah, so I like categorized the available commands into like different available like categorizations, like the setup part, then how to like initialize a GIT repository, and then like branching. Likewise, I have created small the categorizations and the cheat sheet. So yeah, let's see. So like after the installation part, the next thing you need to do is you need to set up. Like similarly, you need to similar, for example, like for any other website also, you will log in with your username and password. Similarly, for GIT also, you can configure your username, the email, and those information, because this will be very useful. because every time, so if you can remember the version control systems video which we discussed last week, there I mentioned like GIT will or any other version control system will track like all the history for the accountability purposes, like who did which change and likewise. So in that case, any change we do and anything we push from our side, so all these things need to be tracked with our particular username, like which user did these changes, because at any given time, any other user or the same user should be able to check the logs, the history, and see like who did these changes and likewise. So in that case, the first thing we need to do is like we need to do the configurations. So like here, if you check the commands, I'm passing this global, the parameter. So if we put this like, so this will be used globally. Otherwise, if you didn't do these configurations, like every time when you try to do push your changes, then every time it will ask for your the username, those information, then time consuming as well, because every time you need to give those information. Instead, it's easy if you can configure those information. So then without asking or prompting time to time, it will use the added configurations. So yeah, now let's see how we can use these GIT configurations. So likewise, you can give GIT config, then the global, then user.name, then you can give the username. So I will give like this. So you can see now it was added the configuration. Next, similarly, you can give the email. Okay, so like this, you can have the user email as well. Currently, I'm using the GIT, the CLI client, and also they have GIT UI as well, desktop UI. So you can either use that as well, but if you are like first time using GIT, I always recommend to first use the GIT client, because then you have to like type these commands and everything, then you will get to know or get familiar with these things. Then it will be easy for you, because like you know exactly like what you do, and you know like what will happen if you use these commands. But otherwise, like if you directly go and use any IDEs or these UIs, then yeah, it will ease your work, because like few clicks you will achieve what you want, but like you don't know like what is happening behind. So that part is missing. So in that case, it's always better if not only for JIT, like for any other technology as well. So every time, like first try to get familiarized with that before trying to use these UIs or the other frameworks available. So try to learn it from the scratch, the basics. Then it will be easy for you to move forward with the other tools and technologies as well. Yeah. So like after doing this configuration part, you can check as well like what are the added configurations. So yeah, likewise, if you give GIT config, then list, then it will list down all the configurations you have added for your GIT installation. For example, like some filtering information, the SSL information, likewise, all these things you can change by similar way, GIT config. Then, so here you need to pass the parameter key and then the value. All these, the available configurations can be updated in the similar way, the similar pattern. So these are the configurations which are added now, the username and the user email. Similarly, you can configure the other available options as well. Okay. So like now the setup part is done. So now we installed and now we have added our username and email, and now we have set up our GIT account here. And then next part is like you need to start creating your repository. And so yeah, so like let's see like how these things can be done here. For example, like I will create a new folder here. So now this is just a folder in my the Windows operating system. It is not a repository now, just a normal folder like the other folders. So how can I make this a GIT repository? To do that, I need to initialize this. So that is the next part. So the init commands. So using this GIT init command inside the folder, I can make this a GIT repository. So you need to go inside the folder. Yeah, the project folder. Okay, now I'm inside the project folder, and as you see, currently there was nothing, it's empty. Now let's run the git init command and let's see what will happen. So after running this git init, that means initialize this as a git repository. So now I will run this git init command, and now you see it gives us the message initialized empty git repository. So it initialized. There was nothing inside the folder. So in that case, we have an empty repository in this particular path. Okay, now if you go and see the same folder, so yeah, if you go and enable the hidden items here, okay, now you will see there is a hidden folder, saved it dot as git. There is a folder created called git and it's a hidden. And if you go inside that, now you can see there are a few items here. So these are the items related to initializing or to your git repository. So yeah, so this particular git folder, the hidden folder, will be useful only to recognize and to help with the git related things. So yeah, it has nothing to do with whatever your project. For example, if you use this to manage your project base, so you can keep that separately, and this git has nothing to do with your project. This is from the git. So since the git init is done, the next thing we have is the git clone. I will keep this command for the next week because this goes to the GitHub. So I don't want to touch that part today, the GitHub part. So it's for the next week. Today we will talk only about the git. So yeah, so now we have the git created. Then let's see what are the other available commands. So if you want to check the status of your project, of your repository actually, so you can use the git status command. So currently there is nothing, or it was empty repository, just initialized. And here if you use this git status command, you will see it will give some information like in which branch you are. If you can remember in the last video, we discussed what branches are. So it says now I'm on the master branch. So this is the main branch, the default branch. So I'm currently on the main branch, the master, and no commit set. That means we haven't done any changes and we haven't committed anything. So no commit set, and also nothing to commit to. That means there are different levels we need to understand here. First thing, okay, I do some changes at my project. So still those things are not added to the git. Still those are just normal files. Yeah, I have initialized the repository. Inside the repository, let's say I create a file. So still I haven't added this to the git. First I need to stage these things to track the changes. So that is one level. So still I haven't done similar thing, still I haven't created any file or anything. So that's why it says nothing to commit. Even though let's say I added, okay, let's do that. So I will create a new file here, new text document. Let's say I will create this as hello world.txt. Now I created a new file inside my repository. And now let's go and see the git status again. Now you will see with the previous result and the latest result of git status. Now you see, yeah, same. I'm still on the branch master. There's no commits. I haven't committed anything. Yeah, I just added a new file. That's it. Untracked files are there. These files are not tracked yet. I just created. So these are untracked files. I need to track these files. So I need to stage these files in order to, if I need to commit to my git repository. So the concept here is if you can remember the distributed version control architecture I discussed last week, there will be a distributed repository. So there will be a server. There we have all this history and the version database. A full copy of that will be with on our local as well. So committing means commit means I add this into my git, and then what push means is from my local to I push those changes, or I'm actually updating the server database as well to make it consistent both, to sync both. And also there is another concept called pull. Pull means if there are some other changes, let's say there are two developers. One developer pushed their changes. So now the server is updated, but not my local. In that case, I need to pull those changes from there. So I will get the latest updates from the server to the my local version database. So that is pull. Push means from my side, I will push my changes. So then the other developers can pull those changes. Sync in from my end to the server is push. Sync in from the server to my end is pull. So those are the concepts here. So commit means when I add these changes, I track those things. I then commit. Commit means I'm adding into my local version repository, version database. Then after committing, I need to push those as well to update the or to sync the server database as well. So like those are the different stages. First I work on my local environment and then I track those changes, stage, and then I will commit those changes. My version database was updated, and then I will push the server was synced, the server version database was updated, and then other developers will pull those changes. In that case, their local version databases will also be updated. So likewise, there will be different levels. So yeah, so now I just added that file. So in that case, still this is not tracked. It is still at the local level. So in order to add this to stage this, I need to use the command git add. Either I can use only my file name, or else I can use dot. If I use dot, it means all the files in this particular location. Okay, I will create another file. So I think I don't need to use the .txt here. Okay, I have one. I will copy it and I will rename it to QVBro. Okay, now I have two files. And I will create another file and I will rename that to my project, something like this. Okay, now I have three files, right? Now again I will use GIT state. Now I have three files and now again I use the GIT status. Now you can see all the three files will be listed under the untracked files. Now let's try to push those things. So now these are like, for example, now these things are in the level 1, still untracked. Now I will try to put these things into the second level to track these changes. So I will use git add command. First I will use it with one file name, hello world.txt. And now it was added. Now let's again check the GIT status. Okay, now you can see it was moved. One file was leveled up from untracked files to staged files. So this is untracked, local. So this is staged. These are ready to be committed. And still we have no commits. So now still on the branch master. So since I here git add I used with the file name. So in that case only that particular file was staged and that is now ready to be committed. And if you want, then you can use git add all to add all the files together. And also like, okay, let's say you did a mistake. You don't want to actually stage this particular file. So in that case, how you can remove this? So for do that, you can use git remove. Then you need to use the cached. And then you can give whatever the file name. So hello world.txt. Okay. Now you can see remove. The file was removed. Now again, if you check the GIT status. Okay, now you can see previously the hello world.txt was under the staged part, and now you can see it was moved back to the untracked files. Likewise, you can add or remove. Then yeah, now I will add all together at one time, git add all. And if you check the status now you can see all the files are ready to be committed. So it's in the staged level now. And the next level is to commit those changes. Yeah, so here if you check this snapshot, the cheat sheet, GIT status we discussed, git add we discussed, git reset I will keep for a minute. Yeah, okay. So again we can check the git log as well. But if you check the log currently, current branch master does not have any commits. Git log will be available for the commits only. So since we haven't done any commit set, the log is not there. And then yeah, git diff, yeah, we can check the git diff. And here if you check the git diff, there is nothing because still we haven't pushed anything. And then you can use this with the staged, and if you use it with its staged, you can see what are the differences. Currently there are no changes, so yeah, I will go and update this file again. Let's say hello world txt. So I will add some. Okay. Now again, if I check the git status, now you will see. Okay. First I added the file and I staged those changes, but I didn't commit those things. Now the same file I updated again. So that's why it's now showing at both places. Now you need, if you use the git diff staged command, now you will see it shows only new file because this particular change I didn't staged. So you know how to stage now. Git add hello world.txt. Now it's staged. Now I will again go and check the git status. Okay, now you can see the new changes are also staged and now it is ready to be committed. And now I will check the git diff is staged. And if you now check this, now it will show the hello world.txt file, the previous version, previous staged version versus the new staged version, and you can see the changes. If it was something newly added, it will show with the plus sign, and if it was something removed, it will show with the minus sign. So what we did was like we added a new text line called hello world, and it will be shown here with the plus sign since it was an addition, and there are no new line at the end of file. Likewise, it will show the diff for the particular file at the staged level. So if you want to check the diff of stage level files, you need to always use this particular the flag, the staged. And if you use it without the flag git diff, you will see nothing because it's still we haven't committed anything. So that is how to use the git diff command. Okay, now let's try to commit these things. Committing means from stage level. Now I'm going to go to the next level, staged, and now I'm going to update my local repository or local version database. So git commit command, and then you need to add this flag -m, that means for the message, because like if you can remember again the last video, I told you the version control system will track all these changes, the history, like who did these changes at what time, purpose, everything. So in that case, Git will allow you to add a message, a commit message. For later, even you or any other developer also can go and check on the commits. So they don't need to go and check all the files which were committed or the differences. If you have added a useful, meaningful message, so they can get an idea, the high-level idea about the whole commit. So because in a commit, there could be multiple files. We don't commit only single change or a single file at once. So we will commit multiple changes together. So in that case, if you can add a meaningful commit message, that will be useful for anyone. Even you, at a later time, if you want to revisit and see what are the changes and like why you did this change and what changes are in this particular commit. So those things easily can be grabbed using after checking this particular commit message. So in that case, writing the commit message is very important. So you need to add a meaningful commit message. So in most of the organizations, there will be practices in like how you should write the commit message as well. So that is, there are best practices. So you need to follow those best practices and you need to add a meaningful, useful commit message every time. So for the time being, I will add as the initial commit, the message git commit, then I added the flag m, and then within the quotes, I added my commit message and I will hit the enter. And now you will see. So branch is master and it generated the sharp. So this is like the commit ID generated. every time when you do a commit, it will create a unique ID, a unique SHA ID for reference to this particular commit. Then my message, and then it has the changes. 3 files were changed and 1 insertion. And it shows like what were the files added. Likewise, now again, if you check the GIT status, now you will see I'm on branch master and nothing to commit, and my work tree is clean. So that means like I have no untracked files now, nothing in the tracked level, because everything is committed. So now my local version database is updated. And then here at this level, if I check the git diff is staged, there will be nothing as expected. Then if I check the git diff, again, there is nothing. So then if you want, you can use the git diff with your branches as well. If you have multiple branches and if you want to check the difference between the two branches, you can use git diff branch. So I will talk about that. I will keep the git push and pull also for next week, because those things will be referenced with the remote repository. So in that case, we need to first start talking about the GitHub, git clone, git push, git pull. Those things will go with the remote repository. I mentioned that from local version database to the server version database, the syncing need to happen. So in that case, this server version database, we can link it with the GitHub. So I will talk these things in the next video. So yeah, now let's see let's see the git log command. If you check the git log command, since we have done one commit, now you can use the git log command. Here, if you use the git log command, it will give the output, the commit. This is the SHA ID. So here above, if you check D1AA8B7, here D1AA8B7. So that is the same SHA ID generated. So now the head is at master. So because still we are at the main branch, the master branch, and we have committed, and now we are at the top of the branch, and here it will show like the author. Here it will show the configure. So these things will taken from the configurations we did first, the global configurations, if you can remember. Username and the email, those information are there. So this is the history, git history, the version control systems history. For the accountability purposes, it has the person who did the change and the timestamp, and this is the commit message we added. So all these things are available from the git log command. And also, if you want to check the git log for a file, you can use the flag, the follow flag, and then the file name. Then it will give the particular commits related to that file as well. And also same, you can use the git log with your branches too. Yeah. Now let's see how we can create different branches. So I hope you can remember the concepts behind the branches and merging, which we discussed. So if you want to maintain changes separately, because like we will not work on the master branch, because there are multiple developers at the same time working on maybe different features as well. So in that case, from master, we will create a branch, separate branch, and we will do our changes on our created branch, the feature branch, and then at the end of the day, or when once all the changes are done, and when those reviews and everything is done, we can merge those things to the master branch. So yeah, in that case, first we need to create a branch. So like here, if you check the GIT status, it showed that we are on branch master. Similarly, you can use the GIT branch command. This will also list down all the available branches, and it will add this star to the current working branch. So currently we have only the master branch. So in that case, it will show like this. And if you want to create a branch, you can use the command git branch, and then you can give the branch name. So I will give as feature 1. And then if you check the git branch command again, now you can see there are 2 branches, and what is your working branch with this star. And if you want to switch between branches, now okay, from master branch I created my feature branch or the working branch, and now I want to switch to my feature branch, and then there I will do my changes. So you can use git checkout command with the branch name. Okay, now you can see it says switch to branch feature 1. And if you check the git branch command now you can see previously the star was on the master and now the star was changed to the feature 1. Similarly, if you check the git status, it will say you are on branch feature 1. So now you are on your feature branch. Anything you do now will be available only for your branch. That means like if you do some changes here in the feature branch to your file, and if you go and check it on the main branch on the particular file, those changes will not be there till you merge those changes. For example, let's say this is like keeping two different the copies of the same repository, same file. You have two copies. You update one copy. The change will not be available on the other copy. Likewise, till you merge these two. Okay, now let's go and do some changes to the file. Yeah, I added some changes here. The line was newly added. And again here, if I come back and if I check the GIT status, now you can see my file was modified. New changes are there, but those are not yet staged. Now you know this part. You need to git add. Okay. And now if you check the status, okay, now those things are staged. Now it is ready to be committed. So now I will use like this. Sorry, git commit. So I will use like this, and now I commit those changes. And if you check the status, now it is all good. And now let's check the diff between two branches, the main branch versus the feature 1 branch. Sorry, it's not the main, the master. Okay. Now if you check the difference between the different of this all the files in the master branch versus the feature 1 branch. I did only one change. It was on the qvbro.txt file. I added a new line. So here, if you check the diff of, so it will show, okay, the changes are on the qvbro.txt. There are differences in between master branch and the feature 1 branch. So here it shows it. There are newly added changes, the plus line, and then the changes. So likewise, you can check the difference between the two branches like this. And okay, now let's go to the master branch. I will check out, right? Now if you check the status, now I'm on branch master. And here if I go and check the qvbro file, now you can see it's empty. The changes are not there because now I'm on the master branch. My changes were there at the other feature branch. That's why if I come here and check the changes, it will be empty always. Okay, I will close. Again, I will check out to my feature branch. And then if I again come back and if I check this file, now you can see my changes are there in that particular feature branch. I hope you can understand the concept behind this. Okay, so git branch we used, create branch we checked, and how to check out. Okay, then the merging part. Before going to merging part, I will talk about this GIT Reset, because let's say you made some mistakes and you want to revert those changes. So similarly, like previously we show like the git remove command. If you mistakenly staged unnecessary files, you can use the git remove command to again unstage those changes. Similarly, if you commit some unnecessary things, how you can revert those things. Okay, before that I will add multiple commits. So yeah, okay, now we have multiple commits here. I will add another commit. Okay, let's go to qvbro and then I added that as well. Okay, now Okay, and then let's see the git log. Okay, now we have multiple commits. So here the things came from the master branch, all the files, and then here I added the title, and then here I added the welcome message. Now let's say I don't want to actually the welcome message I don't need. So like what can you do? Either you can go to the file and then remove this particular line and then stage and then commit. So that means like reverting the things you did manually. So then you have to go and update the file manually, stage the command, stage the check. So in that case, you need to go and update the file manually, stage the changes, and commit the changes. So 3 steps were there. But okay, here since it was a very simple change, it's okay. You can do it manually as well. But I'm not talking about this simple change. But if you are working actually on a project and there are so many changes, so then it will be very hard to revert those changes manually. So in that case, what you can do is you can use the GIT Reset command. So you can use GIT Reset. So reset means like, okay, so here you can see now head is set here at the feature 1 branch and at which commit. So this is the latest commit. So okay, just imagine a stack. Anything will come to the stack will be placed at the top. So if you can remember the data structures and algorithms things you learned, there you learned about the stack. So in the stack, the things which come will go down and the later comes which are coming later will be added to the top of the stack. And also we can take things out like from the top of the stack one by one. So here also we have a stack. So this was the first one, but it's at the bottom. So this was the next commit, and this is the latest commit, the third one. So those things will be piled up like this. So now the head, the head all is at the last commit at the top of the stack. So now if you want to, let's say I want to reset or revert this particular commit and I want to go to here. So in that case, you can use GIT Reset and you can use the commit ID, the SHA ID to the place where you want to move your head. Like this, you can use GIT Reset with the SHA one. So now you can see there are unstaged changes after the reset. Now you can check the GIT status, and GIT status will show you that there are changes now to be staged. That means you need to use git add all command. Now let's check the git log as well. Okay, now you can see previously 9fda commit was there. Now that particular commit is not there, and head was at that particular one, and the second one was 96617 commit. Okay, now we have 9661 commit at the top, and now the head is at that particular commit. So now you see the last commit I did was removed and it was taken back to the previous level, from the commit level to the unstaged level. So if you can remember the git remove command, from the stage to unstaged you can move a file using the git remove command. Similarly, from the committed level to the unstaged level you can use the git reset. So now if you check the file, the changes are there. The change was not removed from the file, but it was removed from the commit. Previously it was committed. From the local version database it was removed and it was added to our local level. Now it is not committed, but it will be still, the change is there, but at the unstaged level. Now again, if you need, you can do the necessary changes, then you can git add and then git commit. Likewise, you can proceed. So that is the git reset, the soft level. So in the git reset, there are two methods, the soft reset and the hard reset. So this is the soft reset. In the soft reset, the changes will not be removed, just it will be uncommitted, the commit will be reverted, and the changes will be moved to the unstaged level. But if you use the git reset hard, in that case, the changes will be totally reverted back. So in case, if you want to use the git reset command as a developer or person who use the version control systems, Git, in that case, you need to have a clear idea like how you want to reset it. whether you need to totally remove all your changes, even from the local, or whether you need to uncommit that and you just need to unstage those, because you can do the other modifications and then again you need to commit. So that you need to keep in mind when you're going to use the reset command. Okay, now again I will add these things, git add, and then I will use again the same commit message. And then if you check the git log, now you can see again there will be 3 commit messages and the head is at the top. Okay, now I will use git reset, but this time I will use the heart, the flag hard. If you use this one, git reset hard, and now if you check the git log, again the similar thing, similar. The top commit was reverted, head was moved to the new top of the stack, and if you check the status, now this is the difference. Now if you check the GIT status, there are no changes or untracked or unstaged, nothing. But previous time, after using the GIT soft reset, if you use the GIT status command, you can see the changes were there at the unstaged level. But now if you use the hard reset, all the changes are totally gone, not even at the unstaged level. Now if you go and check the file, now you can see that particular change is not available at all. So I hope you got the clear idea about the difference between the soft and hard reset, because this will be very useful if you use it without knowing. If you unfortunately use the git reset hard, but if you wanted to keep your changes because you wanted to do some modification only, but if you use hard with your reset, then unfortunately all your changes are gone. Okay, so that is how you can use the git reset command as well. Next, let's see. Okay, now we discuss about status, add reset, diff, commit, and then the git show. If you want to show if you want to get more information about a particular commit, likewise you can use the git show with the commit ID, and then you will get all the information related to that particular commit ID and the author, the timestamp, the commit message, and then like all the differences in that particular commit, all the committed things, the changes committed from that commit will be listed down. So that is the git show command. Then git log vso, and then git diff vso. Okay. Git log also you can check between 2 branches, master and the feature one, let's say. So it will show the git log. So those things which we discussed things. Okay, now the next thing is we can see how you can merge these changes. So if you check the git branch again, you can see still we are at the feature one branch. And if I go back to the git checkout master, then, and if I check the git branch, now you can see now I'm on the master branch. And then here if I check the changes, again the file, that the title message is not there. Previously we had the title added, because now those changes are at the feature branch. So that means like I have, let's say, completed all my work related to my feature branch, and then those things are reviewed and everything is done, all good. Now we need to merge these things to the master, because now these things are ready to be shipped to the production. We need to create the latest version. So I'm going to merge these changes from my feature branch to the master branch. So you can use the command git merge with your branch name. So in that case, you need to be on the particular branch where you need to merge those. So in merging, there will be 2 branches, right? The parent branch and the child branch, let's say. So the child branch will be merged to the parent branch. So the changes in the child branch will be taken and will be put into at the top of the parent branch. So in that case, if you use this once while you are in the master branch, the changes from the feature branch will be added to the master branch and the vice versa. So that's why you need to check in which branch you are now before you use this git merge command. So now I am in the master branch. So now I will use git merge and I will give the branch which I need to be merged into the master branch, the feature one. So now the feature one branch is here, the master branch is here. If I use this command now, these changes will be added to the master branch, the top of the master stack. Okay, now you can see updating and then okay, the file and the change. One file changed and one insertion from there. And now if you go and check the file here, now you will see the change is available at the master branch as well. And now let's check the diff between the master branch and the feature one branch. So yeah, as we expected, there is no difference because all the things from the feature branch were added to the master branch. And then if you check the log, okay, now you can see both master and feature one, the head is at this particular commit, both updated. Git log, okay, then status, there will be nothing. Yeah. Then since I have completed all my work in my feature branch, and it's always good to delete all these unnecessary branches to avoid any conflicts, any confusions later. Otherwise, if you drop this feature one branch here and then like after 1 year or 2 years time, if you check the list of branches, okay, then you will see this feature one branch and you don't know why it was left there, whether there are any unmerged changes, whether it is still a working branch, no idea. So in that case, every time when you complete all your work in a feature branch and if those things are merged, always it's good to delete if that is not necessary. So yeah, let's see git branch. Now 2 branches. Now I will delete my branch with flag D. I will use feature 1. Now you can see deleted branch feature 1. And if you check the branch list now, you can see again, now we have only the master branch. I hope that also clear to you guys. Yeah, so now we saw like how to create a branch, how to check out and how to merge and how to delete the branch as well. Then these things I kept for the next week. The remove, and also if you want to, let's say, change the location of a file, you can use the move. Like similar to you use the Linux commands, you can use the git move existing path and the new path. Likewise, you can give. Okay, so those are the things which I wanted to talk under the commands for today. And yeah, there is another thing called the git ignore file. So this is I will talk more about this with the GitHub. So let's say if you add that git add all, everything within this particular repository will be staged. And if you then use the git commit, all the things will be committed. But if you are working on a project, let's say in IntelliJ, you might have seen IntelliJ will also add some folders to your project. Those some changes, and also if you are using some other frameworks and those stuff. So other than that, if you use some other tools, then those tools will also might be creating some folders in your project. So those things are not actually needed for your repository. So those folders and the files are created from those tools in order for those tools to work correctly and to keep some track of some changes, the history, those things. But those things are not actually needed for your project or your changes. So in that case, those things are not needed to be staged or committed or added to the local or the remote repository. So those things you can mention inside a git ignore file. So you can create a file with this name .git ignore, and then you can add either file names or folder path, anything inside this git ignore, and then you can commit this file. Then next time when you try to stage anything, if you use git add all and then if you use git commit, those files or the folder paths, anything inside this folder path will not be staged or committed. So that is the use case of a git ignore file. So I will explain more about this in the GitHub, and I will show you how you can create this and how you use the git ignore. Yeah, so I hope those things are clear. Today we check on the git commands from the init to the reset as well. So from the very beginning level to the advanced level, the reset. So yeah, I think I hope these things are clear. Please have a look again at the video and refer the cheat sheet and do some practicals, get some hands-on experience. Then you will be familiar with these commands. And after familiarizing with these commands, the client tool, then you can use one of these UIs or IDEs, because now all these IDEs are come with this JIT integration. So from the IDE itself, you can commit, push, pull these changes, and you can connect this with your GitHub as well. So those integrations are now available with almost all the IDEs. But first, learn these things, the commands, and get the concept behind, and learn like what will happen if you use these commands. After that, you can use these UI tools and the IDEs. So yeah, I hope everything is clear. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. You can reach me out either using the comment section, or you can drop an mail at qvbro.pro@gmail.com. So I'm really happy to help all of you. And as I mentioned, the cheat sheet is available at the description section. You can use the link to download it. And yeah, so stay tuned. Next week, I'm coming again with another video. Next video is about the GitHub. So there will be multiple videos. So the GitHub, we won't be able to cover everything within one video. So yeah, so stay tuned till next week, and happy testing. Don't forget to practice these things, because for the next week also we need to have the knowledge about this JIT commands which we use. So see you, and happy testing till then.